Thanks for staying with us on Fafanua Africa. Now, as the future leaders of the legal profession in Nigeria, young lawyers have a critical role to play in addressing the intersection between inflation, insecurity, and good governance. Inflation erodes the purchasing power of citizens, exacerbates poverty, and of course, places strain on the economy, while insecurity threatens the peace and the stability of communities, as well as hampers economic growth. Now, good governance is essential for fostering a conducive environment for economic development, for promoting social justice, and for upholding the rule of law. In this context, it is crucial to examine the specific challenges and opportunities that some young lawyers face in addressing these issues. And that's why today we're discussing the role of young lawyers in establishing good governance, especially in a country like ours. And my guest is none other than the International President, West African Law Students Association, Naziru Sunusi. Thank you so much, Naziru, for joining us.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for having me.
It's my pleasure. Now, Nazir, very quickly, we're talking about the role of young lawyers and how they can help navigate our way through good governance. For a long time, we've talked about how the youths are the leaders of tomorrow, the younger generation are the ones who should rule and things like that, but we don't see any of these things happening. So my first question is going to be, how do you perceive the current state of things in Nigeria and its impact on the economy and the citizens' well-being?
Thank you so much for asking me this very important question. It is clear that Nigeria is having a lot of problems, ranging from insecurity, inflation, and governance issue. But one of the most devastating issue that is worrying most Nigerians is issue of inflation and insecurity. And inflation and insecurity has nexus. For us to address issue of inflation, we must tackle issue of insecurity. Because most of our teeming farmers, especially from Northwest and North Central, are unable to go to their farms because of fear of being kidnapped or fear of being killed in the course of their farming. So for us to address issue of inflation in this country, we must address issue of insecurity drastically so that our teeming farmers will be able to go and farm freely without fear of being kidnapped or being killed. Because as we speak now, what is happening in Zamfara, Katsina, is that most of the teeming farmers who is producing enough tomatoes, pepper for us, they are unable to go to their farm since dry season because of fear of being kidnapped. And these armed bandits are taxing each community. They will be asking particular community to bring 20 million. And even people that are young, people that migrated to Abuja or Lagos in search of greener pasture, you are not in the village, but you have to contribute maybe 20,000 to send to your village so that they will not kill your parents. So this is what is happening as we speak now. So for us to address issue of inflation in this country, we must tackle problem of insecurity drastically. And secondly, there are some important sectors of our economy alive that must be subsidized for us to address issue of inflation in this country, particularly transportation sector. Even most of these developed countries, such as Europe, America, subsidize transportation sector so that our people will be able to transport their goods and services so that our prospective buyers will be able to, consumers will be able to buy it cheaply. So that is my take.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Now, talking about young lawyers and what they can do, to contribute to the issues at hand, in what ways do you believe that they can help to address the issues of inflation and economic stability, even if it's not solely up to them, but how can they contribute?
Thank you so much once again for asking this important question again. For us to know the role of young lawyers, we have to identify what are the ideal blocks of good governance. One of the characteristics of good governance is respect for human rights, rule of law, free and fair election, development for the people, and so on. So one of the ways young lawyers can contribute to address issue of inflation and economic crisis in this country is to use their advocacy skill to let the government know that this is what is happening. Most of the renowned global affairs analysts, they are lawyers, and most of commentators, even most of the government officials, most of them they are lawyers. So we can use our advocacy to challenge some of the action of the government before the court of law, and we can also use our advocacy skill to do a lot of press conferences, do a lot of research, do a lot of proposal recommendation and follow up to ensure that the government is live up to its responsibility. So this is one of the way young lawyers can use their advocacy skill to deepen good governance in Nigeria. Secondly, as young lawyers, you know that we are technological survey, and we have innovative and creative mind. So we can use that also to support our government in a way that we can contribute as citizens to the growth and development of this country, maybe through an outreach program, through sponsoring marginalized community, highlighting the importance of access to justice and so on.
All right.
What is it?
Okay. So I also wanted to ask, I mean, looking at the legal system now, how exactly do you think that it can be leveraged to, advocate for promoting peace and security, basically, in our communities, in the country generally?
Okay, thank you so much once again for asking this very important question. By virtue of Section 14, Sub 2, Paragraph B of the Constitution, the primary responsibility of every responsible government is the security and welfare of its citizens. However, even though Chapter 2 of the Constitution is not justiciable, what I mean is you cannot impose those rights that are contained in Chapter 2. However, it is high time that the judiciary do what we call judicial activism. When I say judicial activism, the judiciary should take a radical departure and do an interpretation that will help our citizens, because the rights that contained in Chapter 4, that is from Section 23, 33, 34, 35, and up to 46, are justiciable. So there is no way a person will have right to life without having security in this country. There is no way a person will have right to his human dignity without having put security, without having put security in this country. So the court should take a radical departure to make an interpretation that, see, since the government failed to tell us why our military is unable to tackle the menace of insecurity in this country and inflation for over a decade. Now, every single citizen that is being kidnapped in this country, the government should pay the ransom, and also the victim must be compensated adequately by the government. Maybe if the judiciary can do this, the government will live up to its responsibility. Because all the rights that contained in chapter 4, they can never be justiciable for us as citizens if the right that contained in chapter 2 the government does not respect it. Because now the government is not living up to its responsibility to secure the life and property of our people. So this is one of the ways the judiciary can rescue this country. Thank you so much.
All right. Now, we've talked about some policies and the necessity for implementation, but we see the country we're in where a lot of people would almost say that it is an autonomy of decisions where other people's voices do not exactly matter. Young lawyers are not heard, the youths are not heard. How exactly do we push for such policies to be implemented? I mean, you've mentioned some very salient points and some, important things that can be adopted, but it's one thing to know what to do. It's another thing to listen and have it done. So how can young lawyers push for such policies to be implemented?
Even though you know that I believe what Kwame Nkrumah once said, that we have fought for the liberation of Africa. It is the duty of the new generation to carry the torch forward. We too, as youth and young lawyers, we have our own problems, and we also have challenges that we face. We have some young lawyers who are passionate to make a difference. But if young lawyers and youth can speak truth to themselves, can wear their thinking caps to say that, look, all these all politicians, they have failed us. It is high time that we unite to rescue our country because the future belongs to us. So if young lawyers like yours who are even I'm yet to be I'm yet to be there, but I'm still making an impact in my own little way. So I do believe those that are already there, they can use their advocacy skill. We also have young lawyers association. They can start thinking outside the box, challenge the government policy through court of law, organize a peaceful demonstration. Let the government know this is what is happening. Channel your grievances to appropriate quarter. If action is not taken, let us use the court process to ensure that the government is living up to its responsibility. And also, we should sensitize our teeming voters. We have issue of endemic poverty and pervasive illiteracy in this country, where our voters are being manipulated on the ground of religion or because of their widespread of poverty. This politician will use that advantage to tell them, vote us because we share the same religion with you or ethnicity. So young lawyers can use their advocacy to enlighten teeming Nigerians, particularly our mothers in the villages, our youth who are unable to go to school. Let us enlighten them that we should elect the right people to lead us well. And if people didn't lead us, these people from your constituency that you send them to National Assembly, they are doing nothing, they are busy changing national anthem. You should start process of recording them and we will assist you. So this, if young lawyers can use their advocacy, I do believe that we have a lot of room to play.
So in your opinion, what would you say is the major reason or are the major causes for insecurity in this part of the world? And how does activism come to play in that?
Okay. The major, we have the root causes of insecurity in Nigeria, particularly in Northwest, North Central and Northeast, is unemployment and endemic poverty. This is one of the root causes. Secondly, there is international conspiracy and national conspiracy because the government should be bold enough to tell us why Nigerian military are unable to eliminate this armed bandits and other criminals. I do believe there is no country that is free from petty crimes. But how comes in Nigeria that We have so many local government, we have so many villages that the bandits are taxing that people and they are giving them 15 million, 20 million, and these ordinary Nigerians, they will not be able to go to their farm. And some of this money, it is even their children who run to our cities, who migrated to our various cities such as Lagos, Abuja, and other cities. They are the ones contributing this money or selling their cows or something like that to contribute this money. So the government must be sincere enough to tell us what is happening behind the scene, because there is no way that this issue has been lingering for more than a decade. So the government should be bold enough. And mind you, insecurity now is a big industry that accommodates a lot of people. There are so many people who are capitalizing on that. So they don't want that insecurity to end because money is being budgeted. International community, some international community, they are also support.
Do we still have you there with us?
I mean,
Yes, please go ahead.
okay, I said there is no way you will go to a village and see a person that is uneducated man. Maybe he has never been to the headquarters of his local government, but is carrying a weapon that is so sophisticated. You will begin to wonder. So there must be invisible hand, and the government must do the needful to tell us who are these invisible hand and deal with them decisively. And the government must address issue of unemployment and poverty. And let me tell you, if Nigerian government is serious, they should invest in agriculture. Agriculture possesses the potential to to significantly alleviate the unemployment in Nigeria. Agriculture alone can absorb unemployment. So the government should invest heavily on agriculture so that our teeny youth will be busy with doing something so that this issue of insecurity can be addressed drastically. And the government should tell us what is the role of international community about insecurity and who are these invisible hands, both at national level and international level. Thank you so much.
Okay, Nazir, what would you say is the most pressing legal issue that Nigeria is battling at this moment, and how can it be resolved?
So, as we all know, that the most pressing issue that is facing the judiciary is corruption and interference by political leaders. These are some of the pressing issues that is facing judiciary, which must be tackled drastically for us to have an independent judiciary. As Montesquieu once said that there is no liberty if the judiciary is not independent.
Okay, in general now, where would you say you see the future of young lawyers in the next 5 years, especially in Nigeria, if the system persistently or refuses to improve?
Okay, I will say it the way it is. Some, that in Nigeria, those that are willing to steal are even more than those that are already stealing. So some of these, some young lawyers already, they are waiting for an opportunity to be there and apply the same methods and the same system they see our Nigerian politicians uh, is adopting. Well, some young lawyers are not happy with the status quo and they are going to make a difference. So that is it. I will not say all of us have the same vision and mission, but I do believe we have those young lawyers who are passionate to make a difference, and we have those who are already waiting for an opportunity to be there to continue with the system. But we will not allow them. We will continue to speak the truth without fear or favor if the media continue to grant us an opportunity to share our views.
All right. Naziru Sunusi, International President, West African Law Students Association, joining us from Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your own perspective and, of course, shedding light on what young lawyers can do and the challenges that they are tasked with at the moment. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.